Okay. Start recording. Let me share my screen. Can't really see my screen. So hey everyone, welcome to the Harvard Community Meeting. The agenda for today is, I'll talk about some of the things that are going on in the community, the big announcement around graduation, give a status update on the 2.1 release, so 2.0.1 release that we just put out. And then we were supposed to have we wanted to share something that a company called Sysdig was working on with Harvard to integrate their scanning solution with Harvard, but we might have to wait until the next community meeting for that. But one of our maintainers, Daljing, will present the proxy cache design. We can talk through it, make sure we address everyone's concerns. So first thing is Harvard has graduated. If you haven't heard, we graduated from CNCF after securing all the votes. So this was a long process, 8 months in the making. You can see that the graduation PR put out by Michael in October of last year. So 8 whole months. There was a lot of due diligence done by the CNCF TLC committee members, as well as multiple rounds of vetting by the Kubernetes special interest groups, like we did SIG storage, SIG networking, and SIG runtime. I'm not sure if there were more, but at least those three. So they really looked at every aspect of the project to make sure that it can be considered enterprise grade open source project. We're super proud, super happy about what we've accomplished, and we could not have done this without everyone in the community, including the people on this call and the people that will be watching these videos. The community plays a huge role in helping us test, giving us feedback, start helping us drive the roadmap. So we appreciate everyone's involvement in this graduation from CNCF. It shows that we've hit a certain level of maturity, but that we're still growing as a project. I think it's really the potential and for the things that will come that drove this decision. And then a couple of things about the releases. We had a 2.0.1 patch release yesterday. 2.0.1. So if there were some issues with replication to Azure and Quake, specifically small improvements to tag retention. There was an issue with the tree scanner that was fixed. And if you're using that Helm version or with a proxy, there's an issue with Trivy, and it's basically rendered unusable. So we'll have a fix for that in the next 1.4.2 Helm release, or 1.4.1 rather. I'm sorry. So right after the 2.0.1. And there's also an issue with the 1.10.2 or 1.10.1. Essentially, the base image, the base photon OS image that was consumed, the behavior has changed. It basically broke installations after the default 90 days was up. So we recommend everyone to upgrade to 1.10.3, and that has been released this week as well. And then the 2.1, you can track it over here. So everything, this should be called 2.1 product commitments at this point, because it's pretty much set. So we're making good progress on all the main features of 2.1. So that's the ability for Harbor to function as a proxy cache for some upstream registry, the ability to run non-blocking garbage collection, which means that you can push and pull and delete images from the Harbor instance as GC is running, as well as P2P integration with Alibaba Dragonfly and Uber Kraken. Right? So we will have a way within Harbor for the project admin to add a P2P provider, like Alibaba Dragonfly or Uber Kraken, and then you can dispatch. It's what's known as pre-feeding the image, which moves it from the Harbor side to the P2P side, where it's then distributed in a much more scalable way to thousands or tens of thousands of nodes. And these are completely policy driven because we think of moving the image over to the P2P side no differently from allowing the image to be pulled and deployed. Like there's an inherent level of trust when we release it to the P2P provider. And so there are mechanisms to block or release the image to the P2P side, right? So you can say something like only signed images can be preheated, or only images that have no vulnerabilities of a certain severity or higher can be preheated, or only images matching a certain tag or a certain label. So now we'll let Dao Jing present the design for the Proxy Cache. We talked about what it is on previous meetings, so we can share this spec now, and then we'll have a demo maybe in the next or the one after that. So Dao Jing, you want to take it over?
Okay. Can I share my screen? This is the proposal.
Yep, I can see your screen.
Okay. Let's talk about the proposal of the Proxy Cache. In this proposal, we are going to introduce a new project type, proxy project. As a Harbor system admin, the user can create a proxy project in Harbor and also associate a existing registry for this proxy. For example, one can use it create a project.harbor. Then he can check it is a proxy project and associate to our existing registry. Or once the proxy project is created, then as any common user in Harbor, if the user has a permission to access the proxy project, then he can pull the images by this proxy project. For example, if he need to pull the this command, for example, he need to pull command, pull the example hello world from .harbor. Then he can he should log in to the Harbor first. Then he should add a prefix to the previous command. For example, he have to add the server name and the proxy project name to the prefix of the command. This is for Docker command line user. For Kubernetes user, he have to update the YAML file to the sorry. For YAML for Kubernetes user, you have to update the Kubernetes pod spec YAML with manually or with a mutating webhook. For example, he have to update the image location of the YAML file And also he should update the image pool secret in the YAML, because there are different secret for to Docker or or to the proxy project. When the pull request comes through the proxy project, the image, if the image is not cached, it will pull the image from the target server, for example, the Docker. And all the images, the proxy the images will stored in a proxy project such as the Docker proxy, like a normal project. And all the features of all the previous project related feature are enabled, except the push image to the is disabled. And also, user can set up a policy for the Proxy Cache. For example, he can retain the last 7 days visited images in a disk and remove the other images. That's all, Alex.
I have a question, Dajan. Thank you for showing this. If the proxy, the actual target proxy, has credentials, do you enter them the same way as a replication? So if you go up all the way to the top,
yeah,
where you had your image,
because of here we have
yeah. So basically, you have to enter the project here, just like replication, and it includes credentials. Is that correct?
Yeah. For Harbor, there is can you see my screen? On this.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, and here we can. Oh, sorry, I have to log in. For example, we have when we add a new registry endpoint here, we can add a Docker here.
Got it.
So we can use the same registry.
So can I ask you a question now? If you go back to your user interface to your on Confluence, the design you had.
Yeah.
If here the project name Docker Hub doesn't exist in the project, will you give the user an error?
You mean the Docker Hub or the project doesn't exist, right?
But what if?
It is just the normal project name. You can use any name you like.
Hash project.
So Alex, maybe you know the answer to. Does Docker Hub need to be a project inside that registry Docker Hub that you just added, or not? Like it wouldn't be a project there, it would be an account. Does Docker Hub need to be an account in that Docker Hub project for this to work?
I'm not sure I understand. This is just a name, right?
Yeah, the project name can be, like test rather than Docker Hub. And the proxy project, that field, think the workflow, you create a replication policy. That's a reference to the registry list you created.
Got it. So basically, you can put whatever you want in the project name here. The important thing is that you proxy it. You created an account in Docker Hub, which you associated with this project name here. And then every time you pull, as long as you pull out of this project name Docker Hub something, but well, maybe you can take this offline. But what I don't understand is that when you pull an image, there's 4 things that are important, right? The repository name and the tag, which are irrelevant in this case. Then the first 2 parts, which are very relevant, the URI and then the account name, right? So if you're pulling from Docker Hub, you're saying dockerhub.io/account name /repository/tag name and version, right? So we've eliminated the first part, which is the URI, because that's basically how you added the Proxy project here, but the account name, how do you map the account name? Like on Docker Hub, if I have images under the Harbor account, how do I account for that when I cache them?
This setting is project level. There is only one user account that can be set for this project.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I understand, but we can take that offline. I don't want to take too much time here. Like, you know, your proxy project is at the account. It's not at the account level. It's not at the account level, right? When you add a Docker Hub, you're basically getting credentials to Docker Hub all around. You're not actually getting Docker Hub credentials for just one account.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this user could have access to multiple accounts. He could have access to account foo, bar, and buzz. So later on, when it's time to replicate, which account will he pick it up from? Like, I don't see how he associated that.
Then he should have to set up several different proxy projects for each account.
Yeah, but you can't force the users for a single account to only have access to one project. So for a single set of credentials to have access to only one account in Docker Hub, you cannot force that.
Yeah, you cannot. You either get everything or you get nothing.
So Alex, we need to look into this. Otherwise, we're gonna get in trouble, right? Like, you know, if I have, like, for example, Daniel P, if he has an account on dockerhub.io, he might have access to 3 or 4 projects, or 3 or 4. Yeah, I guess that's what Docker Hub calls them too.
Yeah, I think that is the assumption here, right? Is like, if it's another registry or if it's Docker Hub, you can't, like, we can't control how it intercepts that call and only permission it for that project. Like, if you have access to that endpoint, then you get access to all the projects on it.
Okay, so let's say that someone does a pull, right? And let's say that we call this project test. And let's say you do Docker pull, go harbor.io/test/foo. Where is foo gonna come from if you have access to 3 different accounts in Docker Hub?
But in the configuration, you only have one, because if
can you show me the configuration where you only have one?
Yeah, if you click edit.
Yeah. There is only one access ID.
There's only one access ID. Yep.
No, this is one access ID, but I'm saying this access ID, this user might have access to multiple projects.
Correct. So what's the problem?
You mean the project? For example, the private project in a Docker Hub.
Yeah. If you stop sharing for a second, I'll show you. So let me go back to. You guys should be able to see my screen here. I logged into Docker Hub, right? And then when I look at my organizations, I have multiple organizations, first of all. And like, if you look at this, I have 3 repositories. So my image could look something like this. It could look like nodes. So this is hub.docker repository, Docker Mitch Mike node. Or it could look like project contour, and it could look like this. So now the same access credentials, the same user has multiple accounts, and this is the account here, the one I'm highlighting. That's your account. That's the equivalent of a project in Harbor. From a logical namespace standpoint, that is the equivalent to our project. So when I come into Harbor and I say I want to add a new registry, and I make it to be a Docker Hub one, right? So I'm giving my access credentials, right? I'm only adding Mitch Mike here. But if I have access to my multiple accounts here, or multiple organizational accounts, how would you map that in the proxy cache? That's basically what I was asking.
Well, currently we have.
You map one Harbor project to multi.
Daniel, I think you're breaking up. Sorry.
Clear.
Oh, so it should be Harbor.io test project contour XXX. Okay, so you are got it. All right. So you're adding you're adding one more level of interaction there. Got it. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, any other questions on the proxy cache?
And obviously, in that case, if someone wanted to segment this, they could create multiple caches, one per account, right? So they could basically credential an account to only be accessed for only one project. So that makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, we originally booked Sysdig to share, but you know they'll share next time. I didn't have anything else. Do you have anything else you want to share, Michael, or anyone else?
Nothing for me. There's going to be an official announcement on the Harvard graduation next Tuesday by the CNCF. We've had thank you for some of our users that have given us good, positive feedback on that, and you know we have some good quotes that we're including in a press release. So each and every one of you will be able to tweet and retweet and post in social media that announcement. But I want to take here a second and say thank you to all of you, everyone that contributed to Harbor, our users, our contributors. You know, we will not be here without you. You know, thank you to the maintainer team, everyone that's here that's been working on this. Kian, Weiwei, Wenkai, Daniel, Daojun, Henry. You know, you have done amazing work to get us here. Like Alex mentioned, Harbor wouldn't be here if it didn't reach the maturity as a project that it did. So everything you did contributed to the fact that we're now graduated. And this is a big deal. There's only 11 projects, 10 other projects that graduated, right? So we're the 11th project. This is a huge, huge honor and a huge testament to the maturity and commitment that we've had as a group to the project. So thank you. We're going to continue executing our vision. We have a lot of work to do. We're doing a lot of great things, and we're going to continue doing them. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Michael. Yep. Thanks to everyone who contributes and attends these calls and gives us feedback in any way, shape, or form. Really appreciate it. All right. I think we can give some time back on this meeting if there's nothing else. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.